isolation. Another factor is the acute intoxicating effects of the drug may make suicide more likely to occur. Suicide is also very common in adolescent alcohol abusers, with 1 in 4 suicide in adolescent being related to alcohol abuse. Alcohol abuse is also associated with increased risk of committing criminal offenses, including child abuse, domestic violence, rapes, burglary, and assault. Influence of alcohol in criminal offenses. Child abuse. When a parent or the caregiver, whether through action or failing to act, causes injury, death, emotional harm, or risk of serious harm to a child, will fall as a child abuse. Domestic violence. A pattern of abusive behavior maintain power and control over another. So one example of this is a domestic helper or an OFW. So he is being maltreated by his boss. So that is a kind of a domestic violence because the boss maintain the power and control over his domestic helper. Kinds of domestic violence. Physical abuse. So physical abuse is an act of kicking, punching, slapping, or any kind of thing that can harm man and women will fall as physical abuse. Emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is example is name calling. For example, we as an Igorot, we as an Igorot na tinatawag ng mga taga lowlander na ita at may buntot. That is an example of emotional abuse. Sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is you are forcing someone to have sexual intercourse is an sexual abuse. Economic abuse. Economic abuse is for example, work with no pay, like slavery. Next is spiritual abuse. Spiritual abuse is like belief manipulation. Belief manipulation. For example, ako na isang kankanaoy, tas may kaibigan ako na isang Ibaloy, tas pinoportray ko yung beliefs namin na kankanaoy at binamanipula ko yung beliefs nila na Ibaloy na parang ini-introduce ko sa kanya yung beliefs ng isang kankanaoy is spiritual abuse. Next is rape. Rape is committing sex with someone without their consent. So rape is ito yung pinipilit mo yung isang tao na mag-sex kayo pero ayaw nila. So that will fall as an rape. Burglary is using force to illegally enter into a structure for the purpose of stealing or committing something other crime. So tulad ni for example is parang robbery rin to o theft. So pagnanakaw. Next is assault. A violent onset or attack with physical means as blow weapons is for example is nagbabanta ka ng isang tao na hindi mo alam na wala namang kasalanan. So that is an example of an assault. The role of spirituality in substance abuse. Spirituality is about seeking a meaningful connection with something bigger than yourself, which can result in positive emotions such as peace, awe, contentment, gratitude, and acceptance. Addictive drugs relieve human suffering and pain. And if we hope to design and provide effective treatment for addictive disorder, we must understand that pain and suffering and how to relieve it without the use of drugs. The role of spirituality is a key component of the understanding which we need to include in treatment. The concept of spirituality has been around for a long time, has had a verifying definition and interpretation, and has played a role in many people's lives. Spirituality was looked at as a therapy, a place where people went to when in pain and distress to seek to mend their brokenness and to seek soothing relief. Others have described it as a fundamental human drive for transcendent meaning and purpose that involves connectedness with oneself, others, and an ultimate reality or a way to be.
So, before tayo mag-start, may papanoorin po tayong short video about spirituality in social work.
Hi guys, Jasmine here. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about social work and spirituality. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am a practicing social worker and I share my ongoing experiences that I have as a social worker on my channel. So definitely go ahead and subscribe if you're interested. Alright, let's get right into it. So I decided to talk about this topic because spirituality is something that's becoming more and more popular in the world these days. I think both spirituality and religion have been around for ages, but I think spirituality is starting to become more and more common these days. So yeah, I thought I would talk a little more around how spirituality can be incorporated into social work and how beneficial that can be for clients and for the work that we do. So yeah, okay, so the first time I came across spirituality in social work was when I did my second placement actually, which was in a hospital. They had a designated spiritual social worker who worked with patients that had been admitted into hospital and had like a spiritual aspect of their life that they, wanted to sort of use in the healing process. So obviously it was incorporated into assessments and things like that, and that's how they were able to predict who's spiritual and who would like to incorporate spirituality into the work that's being done with them. Yeah, so that was the first experience that I had, and then the second experience is in my current job actually. So it's not really part of the assessment process, but a lot of the counselors that we work with incorporate things like mindfulness, meditation, body scanning, breathing exercises and things like that because research has shown that it can be quite beneficial for people that have experienced trauma in any form. Okay, so what is spirituality? I feel like it's a completely different experience for everyone. Everyone might define it to be something else because it means different things to different people. So I'm not necessarily going to give a particular definition for it, but I'm going to give statements that generally relate to spirituality. So it could be seen as what gives meaning to life to a lot of people. It gives a sense of purpose to a lot of people. It gives a sense of connectedness to a lot of people as well, especially connection to like a higher being or a higher power or a higher thing or to God or whatever people want to call it. It's generally sort of free form where people sort of, use it how they want to use it. So it's a bit different to religion where there's generally like a set number of rules that people go by if they identify with a particular religion. Alright, so there's been lots of research on spirituality and how beneficial it can be when you're working with people. A lot of the time, spirituality is what gives meanings to a lot of people. So if you're working in, fields like mental health and fields where, there's people that are suicidal and stuff like that, a lot of the time when beliefs around God and the higher purpose is incorporated, it can help people to see outside the problem and see outside what they might be experiencing this minute. So that's like sort of a positive way of incorporating spirituality into social work. The starting point of incorporating spirituality into social work is incorporating it in our assessment process. A lot of, organizations sort of work, or a lot of social workers work holistically to identify and manage a lot of issues that clients might be presenting with. And, we usually focus on like emotional, physical, financial, all those aspects of their well-being. So spiritual well-being is something that can be incorporated if we're wanting to work with an individual as a whole. So, doing psychosocial assessments, we can ask questions around like, if the person has any beliefs, or, whether they're religious or whether they're spiritual, or whether they have any sort of practices or anything like that. And that can be a good way of sort of incorporating spirituality into your practice. Another way of incorporating spirituality into your practice is if clients identify to be spiritual or to be religious in any way, then you can support and link them into, pastoral services, or even like spiritual workers in different centers and things like that. And I think the most important aspect of incorporating spirituality into your work is being open-minded and not respecting the difference between what your beliefs might be and what that of the clients might be, and allowing them to tap into their spirituality if they find it to be a resource, or if they find it to be beneficial. And that's why it's important to identify what it means for them, what that spirituality or what that belief system means for them in their healing process, or in their recovery process, or in their life in general. Another way of working with clients and supporting the idea of spirituality is, they might have views around like certain spiritual practices that maybe they need to do before they get into sessions with you, or before they do appointments with you. For instance, if they're wanting to sort of say a prayer at the beginning and at the end of sessions, I think it's important that workers are respectful enough to participate in it. And in participating, that doesn't mean that you're the one that needs to pray, but just being quiet and being able to shut your eyes for like a minute or two, just as a sign of respect for whatever the client's beliefs are. And in saying that, obviously your views don't need to change on a particular religion or spiritual practice. It just means that you're allowing room for the clients to do what helps them in their healing process. And also in circumstances where it's appropriate, certain spiritual practices can be incorporated into the sessions that you offer to clients. For instance, as I said, at my work, people do some body work, meditation and stuff like that in their practice. So, if it's something that you're comfortable and confident and, have studied about, then that's something that you might be able to sort of incorporate in your practice, and it could be beneficial for clients if, of course, they're comfortable with it as well. So the whole purpose of this video was to give you an overview of spirituality and how it links into social work and how beneficial it can be for clients. I was reading up on this topic just earlier on today, and there were examples around people not wanting to say go on medication because they believe that God will heal them the natural way and stuff like that. And once social workers have been willing to link clients into spiritual workers, or pastoral workers, or people in that field that have been able to work with them on those beliefs and things like that, most of the time they've come out being willing to be open to try medication to see how they go and stuff like that. So that's a very sort of positive example in the health setting. What do you guys know about spirituality and social work? If you guys know anything, definitely share it below. If you didn't know as well, let me know so I know that this is actually beneficial to you. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Okay. So, good day to everyone of us na nanonood sa recorded webinar na to. Yung i-discuss ko din po ngayon is the importance of spirituality in social work. So, pag sinasabi nating spirituality is the attachment to religious values or something that in ecclesiastical law that belongs to the church. So, the importance of spirituality in social work is that it makes them feel whole. And this also becomes a strength that make them help overcome every hardship they encounter in this kind of job. In this pandemic, fear becomes our main emotion in case we will be one of a million people na mamamatay kasi dahil sa COVID na to. And so, because of our fear, pinapabayan na natin lahat ng bagay sa Panginoon. Like, for example, sa ate ko na one of the social worker na naka-assign dito sa Bontoc, they personally goes to every municipality na ibigay yung pera ng mga senior citizen. And she always every week lagi siyang sinisipon. Pero fortunately hindi naman siya nagpa-positive sa COVID kasi andun nga yung andun yung faith natin sa Panginoon na ganon we always pray to our loving God na gabayan tayo, tulungan tayo in this kind of work, especially kasi we are frontliners. So ito yung importance ng spirituality sa job natin as a social worker kasi it gives us confidence to face the day without worries kasi andun nga yung andun yung feeling mo na you can face the day without worries. Kasi andyan ang mahal na Panginoon sa tabi mo na gumagabay sa'yo, andyan na tumutulong sa'yo. We pray to the Almighty God. We stand in our belief that we overcome everything because our loving God is with us. And nga yung sinasabi ko kanina. Person's spiritual belief may give them hope or confidence for the future. It gives them a sense of belonging or connection to the community. It is precisely because of our intimacy and power to heal that spirituality and religion is becoming more closely connected with our work in the helping process. Ito nga, parang spirituality connects us with our clients. So, bakit sinabi niya na closely connected? It is because spirituality gives the reason for the client and social worker to be more closer. Parang yung sinabi ko naman kanina. Spirituality can be very beneficial in the helping process, especially whenever clients voluntarily disclose aspects of their spirituality and possible religious affiliations. These revelations can be important in fostering a closer relationship with the social worker because they are likely to be important to a client's identity. Also, when someone's spiritual self is revealed and positively accepted or received, it tends to bring up intimate material that can often strengthen the helping relationship. Given the pervasiveness of religion and spirituality throughout people's lives and cultures, social workers need to understand, religion and spirituality to develop a holistic view of the person in environment and to support the professional mission of promoting satisfaction of basic needs, well-being, and justice for all the individuals and communities around the world.
As we bring our topic on spirituality and social work to a close, we once again thank you for listening to us this morning, and hopefully this webinar has given you a better understanding on the significance of spirituality and in developing attitudes and skills that we can apply in social work practice. For us able to recognize the need of integrating spirituality in the biopsychosocial framework that gives social worker a wider lens on the background of their client. So, all in all, let's become a spirituality sensitive social workers. See you again next time. Thank you and goodbye. Bye.